People, oh, they don't want to understand you. They don't want to see your heart. They don't care about your truth. Their spirit is against you, not because of what you did, but because of who you are, because of what you carry, because of the light inside you. There comes a point in life when you have to accept the hard truth. Not everyone is meant to understand you. No matter how much you explain, no matter how clearly you express yourself, there will always be people who refuse to see the real you. And not because you aren't clear enough, not because your heart isn't in the right place, but because they are not willing to see beyond their own judgments, their own insecurities, and their own perspectives. You will exhaust yourself trying to make certain people understand your heart when their spirit is already set against you. Some people don't listen to hear, they listen to respond. They don't engage to understand. You are simply another target for their assumptions, their criticisms, and their negativity. And if you keep trying to explain yourself to these people, you will drain yourself emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. There are people who have already made up their minds about you before you even speak. They see your growth, your ambition, your light, and instead of celebrating you, they resist you. Not because you have done anything wrong, but because your existence challenges them. Your presence reminds them of their own unfulfilled potential, their own lack of discipline, their own failure to step into their purpose. And instead of using that as inspiration, they choose to turn it into resentment. You cannot convince someone to see you clearly if they have already decided to view you through a distorted lens. You cannot force someone to respect you when they have no respect for themselves. You cannot get someone to acknowledge your truth if their entire existence is built on lies. And this is where many people make their mistake. They believe if they can just find the right words, if they can just explain in a better way, if they can just prove themselves a little more, then finally they will be understood. But that is not how life works. Some people don't want to understand you because understanding you would mean they have to change. It would mean they have to admit that their perception of you was wrong. It would mean they have to confront their own shortcomings, their own bitterness, their own envy. And that is something most people are unwilling to do. So, instead of taking accountability, they hold on to their misunderstanding of you. It is easier for them to believe you are arrogant than to admit they are insecure. It is easier for them to call you lucky than to acknowledge the years of sacrifice, discipline, and dedication you put into your craft. It is easier for them to say you changed than to admit they were never really supporting you to begin with. The moment you recognize this, you free yourself. You stop explaining yourself to people who have no intention of listening. You stop trying to win over those who were never for you in the first place. You stop justifying your dreams to people who have given up on theirs. You stop watering dead plants, expecting them to grow. Instead, you shift your focus. You give your energy to those who uplift you, those who challenge you in a healthy way, those who celebrate your success without hidden jealousy. You surround yourself with people who see your value not just when you win, but when you struggle. People who support your vision even when no one else believes in it. People who don't require endless explanations because they trust your character, your integrity, and your purpose. There is a certain peace that comes with realizing you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. There is a certain power in understanding that your journey is not up for debate. When you accept that not everyone is meant to understand you, you stop looking for validation in the wrong places. You stop trying to make yourself small just to fit into someone else's limited perspective. You stop seeking approval from those who were never meant to walk with you. And here's the truth. When you stop explaining yourself, some people will get upset. They will accuse you of being arrogant, selfish, or distant. They will try to manipulate you into feeling guilty for prioritizing your peace. But don't fall for it. That's just their way of trying to regain control over you. They miss the version of you that was constantly seeking their approval. They miss the power they had over your emotions. They miss the ability to pull you into unnecessary arguments, unnecessary explanations, unnecessary drama. But once you step into your power, once you realize that your purpose is bigger than their perception, You stop engaging in those games. You stop trying to explain yourself to people who don't even understand themselves. You stop wasting your time trying to prove something to people who will never acknowledge it. You move differently. You think differently. You elevate. And as you elevate, you will notice something. Those who truly matter, those who truly belong in your life, they never required an explanation in the first place. There comes a time in life when you must understand your worth is not up for debate. It is not something that can be negotiated, voted on, or validated by the opinions of others. You are valuable not because someone agrees with you, not because someone acknowledges you, but because you were created with purpose. And if you don't believe that deep in your soul, the world will try to convince you otherwise. Too many people walk through life feeling like they have to prove themselves at every turn. They shrink their greatness to make others comfortable. They apologize for their confidence. They explain themselves to people who have already decided not to see them. But let me tell you something. Your worth is not based on whether people recognize it. Gold does not lose its value because someone refuses to see it shine. A diamond is still priceless even if it's buried in the dirt. And you are worthy, whether they acknowledge it or not. But the world will test you. It will try to convince you that your value depends on outside validation. It will make you feel like you have to earn your worth through constant sacrifice, constant people pleasing, constant bending and breaking just to be accepted. It will have you thinking that if you just explain yourself a little more, if you just work a little harder, if you just change who you are to fit into someone else's mold, then maybe, just maybe, you will finally be enough in their eyes. Let me save you some time. You will never be enough for the wrong people. Some people will never see your value, no matter how much you give, no matter how much you prove, no matter how much you explain, not because you aren't worthy, but because they are blind to anything that challenges their small view of the world. And if you keep seeking approval from people who can't even recognize their own worth, you will spend your whole life chasing something you already have. Your worth does not decrease because someone fails to see it. Their inability to appreciate you does not define you. Their rejection is not a reflection of your value. It is a reflection of their limitations. And yet, how many times do we let rejection convince us that we are not good enough? How many times do we take someone's inability to love us as proof that we are unlovable? How many times do we let someone's opinion shape the way we see ourselves? You must wake up to the truth. Your worth is not up for debate. It is not dependent on a job title, a relationship, or the approval of friends, family, or society. It is not something you have to defend, justify, or explain. The moment you start believing that, you walk differently. You talk differently. You no longer settle for places, people, or situations that require you to prove your worth over and over again. Because here's the truth. When you know your value, you stop tolerating nonsense. You stop explaining yourself to people who only want to misunderstand you. You stop chasing relationships that make you question your own self-worth. You stop bending backwards for people who wouldn't even lean forward for you. You stop arguing with people who aren't even qualified to judge your journey. You start protecting your peace. You start demanding the respect you deserve. You start moving in a way that shows you are not available for manipulation, for games, for anything that does not align with your purpose. And yes, some people will call you arrogant. Some will say you've changed. Some will try to guilt trip you back into being the person who always needed their validation. But remember this. People who benefit from your lack of self-worth will always be uncomfortable when you start recognizing your value. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them talk. Let them say whatever they want, because at the end of the day, their words have no power over you unless you let them. Your worth was determined the day you were created. Nothing and no one can take that away. So stand tall, walk boldly, speak with confidence, and never again allow anyone to make you question what you already know. You are enough, just as you are. There are battles in life that are worth fighting. battles for your dreams, battles for your integrity, battles for the people you love. But hear me when I say this. Not every battle is meant to be fought. Some battles are meant to be walked away from. Some arguments are meant to be left unanswered. Some people are meant to be ignored. The problem is we waste so much time fighting battles that don't deserve our energy. We get caught up in defending ourselves to people who have already made up their minds. We argue with those who are not interested in understanding, only in draining us. We try to prove ourselves to people who are committed to misunderstanding us. And before we know it, we're exhausted, angry, and off course. But here's the truth. There is power in walking away. Not every fight is a sign of strength. Not every response is necessary. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is refuse to engage. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is silence. Because engaging in every battle does not make you strong, it makes you distracted. And the enemy knows that if he can keep you distracted, he can keep you from your purpose. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself in an argument that led nowhere? How many times have you lost sleep over conversation that didn't even deserve your time? How many times have you allowed someone else's negativity to pull you out of your peace? That's the trap. That's the trick. Some people aren't fighting you because they have a real issue with you. They are fighting you because they want to keep you occupied. They want to keep you explaining yourself. They want to keep you proving something. Because as long as you're caught up in their drama, you are not focused on your destiny. Walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing the difference between a battle that matters and a battle that is just a waste of time. It's knowing when to stand your ground and when to step back. It's realizing that not every insult needs a response. Not every attack needs a counterattack. Not every challenge needs an answer. Some people will say you're a coward for not engaging. Let them talk. Some will say you're running away. Let them think whatever they want. You don't owe them a war just because they're looking for one. You don't have to defend yourself to people who have already decided to misunderstand you. You don't have to prove your worth in places where you are not valued. You don't have to fight battles that lead nowhere. Because while they are busy trying to pull you into nonsense, you are moving forward. While they are stuck in meaningless fights, you are elevating. While they are distracted by their need to argue, you are focused on building, on growing, on becoming who you are meant to be. So the next time someone tries to bait you into a fight that doesn't serve you, ask yourself, is this battle worth my energy? Is this battle worth my peace? Is this battle helping me grow, or is it just keeping me stuck? If the answer is no, then you already know what to do. Walk away, keep moving, stay focused. Because some battles are meant to be fought, but some battles are just distractions in disguise. There comes a time in life when you realize that words are not enough. You can explain yourself 100 times, and some people still won't get it. You can tell them your dreams, your plans, your vision, but if they don't believe in you, no amount of talking will change their mind. You can try to convince people of your worth, of your intentions, of your heart. But if they have already decided who you are in their minds, your words will fall on deaf ears. So stop talking, stop explaining, stop trying to prove yourself with words. Because at the end of the day, your actions will always speak louder than anything you say. There is power in moving in silence. There is power in letting your work speak for itself. There is power in showing people, not telling them. Too many people waste time announcing their plans instead of executing them. Too many people argue about what they are going to do instead of just doing it. Too many people are caught up in explaining themselves to doubters instead of proving them wrong through action. Listen, people can doubt your words, but they can't deny your results. They can question your intentions, but they can't argue with your success. They can refuse to believe in you, but they can't ignore when your actions make an impact. When you move in silence, when you focus on results instead of arguments, when you let your work do the talking, the noise around you starts to fade. The doubters become irrelevant. The haters become background noise, because nothing silences negativity like undeniable success. Think about it. Who are the people you respect the most? Are they the ones who talk the loudest, or are they the ones who show up every day and do the work? Are they the ones constantly explaining themselves, or are they the ones who let their actions do all the talking? Real power doesn't come from arguing, debating, or convincing. Real power comes from moving with purpose, staying consistent, and producing results. The world is full of people who love to talk but never take action. They love to make promises but never follow through. They love to say what they are going to do but never actually do it. And if you are not careful, you will get caught in that same trap. Talking about success instead of achieving it, defending yourself instead of proving yourself, explaining your dreams instead of living them. But when you understand that your actions carry more weight than your words, you move differently. You stop feeling the need to announce every step you take. You stop engaging in arguments that lead nowhere. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds about you. Instead, you focus on the work. You focus on the results. You focus on proving your point, not with words, but with undeniable success. And here's what happens when you do that. People start to notice. Even the ones who doubted you, even the ones who dismissed you, even the ones who said you would never make it. They may never admit it, but they see you. They see the work you're putting in. They see the progress you're making. And they can't deny it. That's why the best response to doubt is consistency. The best way to prove someone wrong is through action. The best way to silence your critics is by winning, not by arguing, not by explaining, but by doing exactly what they said you couldn't do. So stop wasting your breath, stop defending yourself, stop talking about what you're going to do, and just do it. Let your success speak for itself. Let your work be your testimony. Let your actions be so loud that they drown out every voice that ever doubted you. Because at the end of the day, words fade, but results last forever. There are moments in life when you must realize that not everyone who smiles at you is for you. Not everyone who claps for you is celebrating you. Not everyone who stands next to you is standing with you. This is where spiritual discernment becomes key. Because if you don't develop the ability to see beyond appearances, beyond words, beyond surface level intentions, you will find yourself surrounded by people who are secretly assigned against you. Too many people walk through life blindly trusting, blindly accepting, blindly believing that just because someone is in their circle, they must be on their side. But hear me. Some people are in your life not to build you, but to break you. Some people are watching you not to support you, but to study you. Some people are waiting not to celebrate your wins, but to find your weaknesses. And if you are not discerning, if you are not spiritually aware, you will mistake an enemy for a friend. Discernment is not about being paranoid. It's about being wise. It's about recognizing energy before words are spoken. It's about sensing when something is off, even when everything looks right. It's about knowing when to let someone in and when to keep your distance. Because the truth is, deception doesn't always come dressed as a threat. Sometimes it comes wrapped in kindness. Sometimes it looks like support. Sometimes it feels like friendship, but deep down, something doesn't sit right. That's your spirit warning you. That's your intuition telling you, pay attention. How many times have you ignored that small voice inside you? How many times have you felt something was wrong but brushed it off because the person seemed nice, because they said all the right things, because they showed up when you needed them, and yet later on you found out the truth, that they were never for you to begin with, that they were never happy for you, that they were waiting for the perfect moment to betray you, to use you, to sabotage you, to use you, to sabotage you. This is why discernment is key. Because not everyone is what they appear to be. And if you are not careful, if you are not spiritually tuned in, you will waste time explaining yourself to people who never had good intentions for you. You will confide in people who secretly compete with you. You will trust people who are only around you to see what they can take from you. When you have discernment, you don't need people to expose themselves. You already see them. You don't need them to admit their real motives. You already feel it. You don't need evidence to confirm your intuition, because your spirit is never wrong. And here's the truth. When you start moving with discernment, when you stop being so easily accessible, when you stop sharing your vision with people who were never meant to hear it, some people will say you've changed. Some will say you're distant. Some will call you cold. Let them talk. Because what they call distance is actually wisdom. What they call cold is actually protection. What they call arrogance is actually you walking in the awareness of who you are and who you allow in your space. You are not meant to be open to everyone. You are not meant to be understood by everyone. You are not meant to explain yourself to everyone. There are things in your spirit that are too valuable to be shared with the wrong company. There are dreams in your heart that are too powerful to be spoken in the presence of doubters. There is favor over your life that not everyone deserves to witness. So be careful, be intentional, pay attention. Because when you have true spiritual discernment, you stop being deceived by empty words and fake support. You move wisely. You protect your energy. You guard your purpose. And most importantly, you only allow people in your life who are truly meant to be there. There comes a moment in life when you realize that walking away is not weakness, it's power. It's not giving up, it's leveling up. It's not running away, it's refusing to be trapped in places, relationships, and situations that no longer serve you. Because sometimes the strongest move you can make is knowing when to leave. Too many people stay in battles that are draining them. They stay in arguments that lead nowhere. They stay in relationships that are breaking them. They stay in places that no longer feel like home, all because they are afraid of what people will say if they walk away. They are afraid of being judged, afraid of looking weak, afraid of disappointing others. But let me tell you something. There is nothing weak about choosing your peace. There is nothing weak about protecting your energy. There's nothing weak about refusing to fight battles that are beneath you. The world will try to convince you that staying is strength, that holding on, even when it's hurting you, is noble. But that's a lie. True strength is not about endurance in suffering. True strength is about knowing your worth. True strength is about recognizing when something is no longer for you and having the courage to walk away, even when it's hard, even when it's painful, even when you don't have all the answers yet. Because not everything is meant to be fixed. Not every situation is meant to be salvaged. Not every person is meant to stay in your life forever. And when you fight to hold on to things that God is trying to remove, you only delay your own growth. You only prolong your own suffering. You only make it harder for yourself to step into the next chapter of your life. Think about how much energy you have wasted trying to prove yourself to people who were never going to see your worth. Think about how much time you have spent trying to make something work that was never meant to last. Think about how many nights you have lost sleep over situations that were never going to change. That's the trap. That's the cycle that keeps people stuck. Thinking that if they just try harder, if they just explain more, if they just give a little more of themselves, then maybe things will turn around. But the truth is, some doors are meant to be closed. Some chapters are meant to end. And some roads are meant to be walked alone. Walking away does not mean you are weak. It means you are strong enough to choose yourself. It means you are wise enough to recognize when something is not for you. It means you are bold enough to step into the unknown, trusting that what's ahead is greater than what you're leaving behind. And yes, some people will not understand. Some will try to guilt trip you into staying. Some will accuse you of abandoning them. But understand this, people who truly love you will never expect you to destroy yourself just to keep them comfortable. When you walk away from what no longer serves you, you create space for what is meant for you. When you stop explaining yourself to those who refuse to listen, you free yourself to speak to those who truly hear you. When you stop holding on to the past, you finally open your hands to receive the future. So stop letting fear keep you stuck. Stop letting guilt make you second guess yourself. Stop explaining your decision to people who are not living your life. If something is draining you, walk away. If something is breaking you, walk away. If something is keeping you from growing, walk away. Not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom, out of self-respect, out of the deep, unshakable understanding that walking away is not weakness, it is the greatest power you will ever have. There comes a time in life when you must decide what matters more, your peace or being understood by people who have no intention of seeing you clearly. Too many people spend their energy trying to explain themselves to individuals who have already made up their minds. They exhaust themselves, clarifying their actions, defending their choices, justifying their boundaries, only to realize that no matter what they say, the other person is committed to misunderstanding them. This is one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into, the need to be understood by people who are not listening. Some people don't actually want an explanation, they want control. They don't want clarity, they want to keep you in a place of doubt and insecurity. And the moment you realize this, the moment you decide that your peace is more valuable than their understanding, you take your power back. There is a freedom that comes when you stop explaining yourself. There is a peace that settles in your spirit when you stop engaging in battles that don't deserve your energy. Because the truth is, some people don't misunderstand you because they lack information. They misunderstand you because it serves them. It gives them something to argue about. It gives them an excuse to pull you into their chaos. It gives them a way to manipulate your emotions and keep you distracted. You see, when you care deeply, when you are someone who moves with good intentions, it's natural to want to be understood. You want people to see your heart. You want them to recognize your truth. You want them to know that your actions come from a place of love, of wisdom, of self-respect. But not everyone deserves that explanation. Not everyone is ready to see you as you truly are. And if you are not careful, you will spend your life trying to prove yourself to people who have no interest in seeing the real you. Some people thrive on conflict. They look for reasons to be offended, to twist your words, to create drama where there is none. And if you are constantly explaining yourself to them, you are giving them exactly what they want. Your attention, your energy, your peace. But what if you stopped? What if, instead of trying to prove yourself, you simply lived in your truth? What if, instead of explaining, you let your actions speak? What if, instead of engaging, you chose silence? Silence is powerful. Silence starves those who feed on your reactions. Silence removes you from cycles of unnecessary arguments. Silence protects your peace. Because the moment you realize that your value does not depend on whether someone understands you, you stop seeking validation in places that were never meant to hold you. Think about the times in your life when you lost sleep over someone's opinion of you. Think about the moments when you replayed a conversation in your mind, trying to figure out if you should have said more, explained better, defended yourself differently. And now ask yourself, did any of that change how they saw you? Did any of that bring you peace? Or did it only leave you more frustrated, more exhausted, more entangled in a battle that was never yours to fight? Peace is priceless. And when you protect your peace, you gain something far more valuable than being understood. You gain freedom. You free yourself from the need to explain. You free yourself from the weight of other people's expectations. You free yourself from the toxic cycle of trying to prove yourself to those who have already decided who they think you are. And yes, some people will call you cold for choosing peace. Some will say you've changed. Some will accuse you of running away from confrontation. Let them talk. Let them say whatever they want, because at the end of the day, their words have no power over you unless you give them permission to. Their misunderstanding of you does not define you. Their refusal to see you does not diminish your worth. Their opinions do not change the truth of who you are. When you choose peace, you choose yourself. You choose to walk away from unnecessary drama. You choose to preserve your energy for things that truly matter. You choose to live in a way that aligns with your purpose instead of being pulled into distractions. And in doing so, you send a clear message, not through words, not through explanations, but through the unshakable presence of a person who knows their worth, who values their peace, and who refuses to let anyone take it from them. As you grow in life, as you pursue your dreams, as you elevate to new levels of success and purpose, you'll begin to notice something. Not everyone can go with you. Not everyone who was with you in the beginning can be trusted to walk with you as you rise. The reality is, elevation requires separation. There are people, habits, and situations that simply cannot move with you to the next level. And while that may be difficult to accept, it's the truth. The higher you go, the fewer people can breathe the air of your elevation. It's not that those people were bad or malicious, it's just that their season in your life has ended. Sometimes it's not even a matter of their actions, but their energy, their mindset, their level of awareness. Some people cannot understand your vision because they are not meant to see it. Some people cannot celebrate your success because they are still trapped in their own limitations. And when you try to bring them along, when you try to keep them in your life because you feel obligated or because you fear what others might say, you begin to sacrifice your own growth. You hold yourself back. You dim your light to keep them comfortable. But the truth is, you can't take everyone with you, and that's okay. The people who were meant for your yesterday may not be suited for your tomorrow. And that's a hard pill to swallow. We get attached to people. We create bonds. We share experiences. We go through struggles together, and that forms a connection. But when you are trying to elevate, when you are striving to walk into the best version of yourself, you cannot afford to carry the weight of relationships that are no longer serving you. Elevation requires focus, it requires intention, it requires a mindset that is willing to let go of what is comfortable in order to reach what is possible. Think about the people who have stood by you throughout your life. Think about the ones who have always been there, who have supported you, who have encouraged you, but also think about the ones who have held you back, who have doubted you, who have constantly questioned your decisions, who have made you second guess yourself. The truth is, some people who started with you will not finish with you. Some people who started with you will not finish with you. And if you are to grow, if you are to walk into your next level, you must be willing to release what no longer serves you, even if it's uncomfortable. When you make the decision to elevate, you choose growth over comfort. You choose vision over familiarity. You choose success over stagnation. And sometimes that choice means walking away from people who have been in your life for a long time. It means distancing yourself from negative influences, from toxic environments, from habits and thought patterns that are keeping you stuck. And while it may seem like you are losing something, the truth is, you are only creating space for what is meant for you. You are making room for the people who will lift you higher. You are making room for the opportunities that will take you further. Letting go of certain people doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't care. It simply means that in order to reach the next level, you must be surrounded by people who understand your vision, who support your growth, and who push you to become the best version of yourself. These are the people who will challenge you, who will inspire you, and who will stand by you as you rise. You will face resistance. There will be moments when you feel guilty for letting go of people you've known for years. You will face judgment from those who don't understand why you've distanced yourself. They will call you selfish. They will say you've changed. But let me remind you, elevation requires separation. If you continue to hold on to relationships, environments, and habits that do not align with your growth, you will stay stuck at the level you are currently on. You will continue to experience the same struggles, the same frustrations, the same challenges, and wonder why you're not moving forward. But when you let go, when you separate yourself from what holds you back, you make room for the things that will take you higher. You open the door to new opportunities, new relationships, and a new mindset. You create the space necessary for transformation.